Hello fellow travelers, I'm too lazy to be awesome and this time we'll learn about Shouki no Kami, aka Scaramouche. The boss has two phases, but for both of them we'll have our little floating buddy with us. No, the useful one. To charge and use it, you'll have to pick up energy blocks that appear after boss attacks. Note that these blocks are not all the same. Smaller blocks give you 1 energy, while bigger ones give you 2. Now let's start with breaking down phases one by one. The main mechanic during phase 1 is elemental matrices. In order to activate any of them, you need 2 energy, which is 2 small blocks or a single large block. Pyro and cryo matrices clear leftover ground effects of the opposite element. Hydro applies healing over time to your active character. Animo creates a wind current that helps you avoid certain attacks, and Electro is used to stun the boss. Using one Electro matrix doesn't fully stun the boss and he keeps striking the arena with lightning, generating more energy blocks, but if you use the second one within the next 15 seconds, it will stun the boss completely and will give you free damage window. Attacks in this phase are pretty straightforward. Boss can summon 3 vortexes which pull you in if you stay close and then transform them into water spouts which will roam randomly across the arena dealing damage. Most of the time you can ignore this whole thing and simply keep dealing damage to the boss until water spouts come closer to you. Boss can also shower the arena with small electro shards and then throw 2 large electro prisms at your position. To avoid first part, just stay in the center further from the boss, then don't get baited with energy blocks, wait for the prisms and double dash away to avoid them. Scaramouche also uses pyro and cryo attacks, smashing the arena with his left or right hand respectively, or casting ray of fire or frost with one hand and then slapping the arena with the other. The counter is simple, just stay away from everything, but these attacks also leave annoying pyro and cryo marks on the ground, which deal damage and apply respective element to you. And to clear them, you need to activate the opposite matrix. When you have both elements present after double attack, prioritize clearing the one applied by a smash, since it blocks the matrices and you can simply dash through the marks left by the ray parts if you have to. And when you are dealing with a single smash, don't rush to clear the element right away. After a few seconds, Shouki no Kami might perform a follow-up swipe, which you can easily avoid with a dash, but it also leaves a mark on the ground, so just wait for a few seconds first. When boss is gathering electro energy, he is charging a massive heavy hitting AoE that covers the entire arena. While he's doing that, you have to simply activate Animo Matrix and use Wind Current to avoid incoming damage. And lastly, boss can summon rotating electro rays, which you can also avoid by using Animo Matrix, but you don't have to use it, since it's possible to avoid damage if you just stay in between the rays and dash through them. But keep in mind that it will take quite a lot of stamina to do so. I highly advise you to not use Electro Matrix to stun the boss while he's charging this attack. Unlike any other attack, this one won't be interrupted and you'll have to deal with both rays and lightning strikes instead of dealing damage. During phase 2, instead of activating matrices, you'll be able to launch a heavy hitting projectile as you gather 4 energy for your body, which is 4 small or 2 large energy blocks to which you can even tether during this phase. After you gather enough energy, don't be afraid to miss the shot. Your energy won't be spent until you land a hit, and you'll be able to try again after a short cooldown. Our buddy will also constantly attack the boss, so to be honest, you need to simply survive long enough. During this phase, boss will be trying to hit you with huge AoEs, but all of them are not that hard to avoid. When boss forms a danger zone in a cross pattern, you can either quickly dash out of it or rely on iframes, but if you stay far enough from the boss, you will be in the safe zone straight away. Boss can also teleport to the opposite side of arena from you and charge across it, leaving pyro and cryo trails behind that deal damage for a few seconds after initial charge. All you have to do is to keep running around the arena in one direction. This way both charges will miss. When Scaramouche performs a 3-hit combo starting with a stomp, you need to run away and then dash through or jump over the wave caused by the final hit to completely avoid it. But if he summons Thunder Lances instead, AoEs will be huge, and if you are too close, you might not be able to run away from them in time. In this case, the best thing you can do is to save your dashes and dodge initial hits with iframes to avoid most of the damage and stagger from them. Every once in a while, boss teleports to the eastern side of arena and creates a circle of doom in the center that slowly follows you. It moves faster than you walk, but you don't have to constantly run either. You can simply dash as it gets closer to save more stamina. Once the circle disappears, boss summons electro beams around you. You have to stay calm and try to constantly change directions to mess up the tracking. Beams hit with a very small AoE, so use dashes only when they appear too close. For the most random attack in this phase, boss scatters cryo, hydro or pyro bombs around the arena and then bombards it with little sparks. There is no way to predict where exactly they hit, but generally if you stand in front of the boss close to him, you should be pretty safe, since everything he throws most of the time lands closer to the edge of arena. But to be absolutely safe, you can use dash right when things are about to land to also get iframes, just in case. This attack doesn't generate energy on its own, but you can break the bombs with elemental attacks to get a large energy block from each one destroyed. If you don't break them, they'll explode in a pretty big radius shortly after, so don't forget to look around and keep your distance. And if you happen to be behind the boss, he will turn around summoning Electra Orbs that will launch at you after a couple of seconds. You can easily dash away from them, but the boss also starts casting the next attack while you're dealing with the orbs, which reduces the time for you to react to it. Also, this attack doesn't generate energy, so it's better to stay in front of the boss all the time to never provoke it in the first place. Lastly, once you break his shield, boss will cast his ultimate ability. To interrupt the cast, you have to destroy 4 Nirvana engines to gain energy and use it to shoot the boss within the next 40 seconds. If you fail to do so, Shouki no Kami drains energy from all of your characters and kills your active character no matter how good they are. Pyro, Cryo and Dendro are the best at dealing with the engines. Animo and Geo also work, but they are twice weaker. And in this case, your stats don't matter. What matters is how strong the elemental application is. If you successfully interrupt this attack, boss will be stunned for about half a minute and his resistances will be drastically reduced. Meanwhile, your characters will gain full energy, so it's the best time during this phase when you can deal decent damage yourself. In order to have a smooth phase 1, always keep your energy full and make sure you'll be able to refill it right after using a matrix, just because this attack exists and you have to activate Anima Matrix to avoid it. Remember that after you use one Electro Matrix, boss can generate up to 4 small energy blocks, so wait for 2 extra blocks to appear before using the second Matrix to get back to full energy again. You can even start dealing damage to the boss while he's at it if you feel confident enough. And keep in mind that you can also intentionally use the second Matrix later to forfeit completely stunning the boss for the sake of getting extra energy, for example if you need to clear both Cryo and Pyro effects. Just make sure you won't activate Electro Matrix as soon as it comes off cooldown next time if you intend to stun the boss. Generally, ranged characters have easier time during phase 1, while sometimes melee characters are unable to reach the boss. Other than that, just stay safe and stun the boss as much as possible to create free damage windows. During phase 2, all you need to do is to stay safe, avoid AoEs and not get baited with energy blocks. Your floating machine gun can deal with the boss on its own anyway. Your only time to shine is right after you break the shield. Just bring Pyro, Cryo or Dendro character who can reach flying enemies to quickly deal with Nirvana engines. And don't be afraid to use your bursts, since your energy will be restored anyway if you succeed. Yanfei, Ember and Tainari are the best characters so far to deal with the engines, but many others can handle it as well. And of course, well-built Zhongli will allow you to ignore all the mechanics in both phases except instant kill in phase 2. and electro characters work worse as your main source of damage since boss has increased electro resistance. Other than that, you can fight Shouki no Kami with any team you like. And if you struggle on your own, know that co-op is absolutely broken here. On pickup, energy blocks give their full energy to each player, which significantly increases overall energy gain and makes phase 1 way easier. And phase 2 is just a joke because 4 machine guns annihilate the boss way quicker even with co-op scaling. There are 2 hidden achievements related to Shouki no Kami that you can earn. For the first achievement, you simply need to stun the boss in phase 1 by activating both electro matrices within 15 seconds. And for the second achievement, you have to let the boss cast his ultimate in phase 2 and kill one of your characters. Anyway, that's all for now, fellow travelers. Subscribe for more tips and have a great rest of your day. See ya!
I've sent everything that happened just now to the people of Sumeru in the form of knowledge. I've asked them to help you find a way to defeat the false god.
Just shoot the damn thing!